Oh yeah, that shows that came yesterday.
EVMS, that EVMS, that's from MOI. What is it? Do you know? EVMS.
The purchase order they sent.
For who? Is that the one that
I need to pull it up and see.
Sent?
I need to look it up and double check.
That's cool. That's that. Second, this right here. Can you check on it?
Yeah.
Do we have it, you think?
I'll double check it. Yeah, I looked at it yesterday.
You did?
Mm-hmm. I'll call in today. That's why I wrote Tiffany. I look at it. Also, that one for the box truck, they said you can send a certified letter to the last known address of the previous owner. And if it comes back to us, send that in the return certified letter with us.
That's what we need.
And then they'll go ahead and give us the registration. I'm like, we had this box truck for a year.
I know, but at least we got it and we're going in that direction. I just want to do it and get it done over a bat so I can get it inspected so then I get the plates and everything.
Yeah, but if he still live there and he get it and he don't respond to it, it's like, then we need to be making a trip to Virginia Beach. Hey,
fine. You
bruh.
got his address?
It's on the title.
Cool beans. Let's do it.
Okay.
All right.
Betwabu, everybody. Betwabu. Sorry for a little morning conversation. Had to get something straight. All right, y'all. It is Thursday. April the...
You want to say something?
No.
You be scared what I'm going to say?
No, I mean, ain't no telling what you going to say out your mouth, Mr. Murphy. First thing in the morning. It is April the 23rd, 2020. Thursday, day 128 of year 2 of reading through the books of instruction and the prophets. Today is one of my favorite readings, y'all, because it was this reading right here when I got to this, what is it, chapter... How did I not put the chapters up there? Oh my gosh. Hold on. It's chapters 18, 19, and 20. I'm sorry. Let me write this real quick. And I realized something about y'all. 2 Chronicles 18, 19, and 20. Hold on. Oh, I'm right in the spot. When I realized, good morning, James. Good morning. When I realized, Yah, it was clear. You know how people say, oh, Yah's in control of everything, which he truly is.
I love you.
Love you too. But this is a great example of us seeing him allowing something bad to happen in order to bring something about his result, right? I love this. And it was just last year that I realized this. It's in 2 Chronicles chapter 18, y'all. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, Jehoshaphat had riches and honor and abundance and joined affinity with Ahab, meaning they had an alliance together. King Jehoshaphat, which was the king of Judah, and King Ahab, which was the king of Israel. Remember, they're brothers, all the 12 tribes. You know, you got right now, King Ahab is the king over the 10 tribes, and King Jehoshaphat is the king over the southern kingdom of Judah, which is Judah and Benjamin, and of course the Levites that came down there with them, right? Okay, so now they sitting and they having a chat. Listen to this. Now, Jehoshaphat had riches and honor and abundance and joined affinity with Ahab. And after certain years, he went down to Ahab to Samaria. And Ahab killed sheep and oxen for him in abundance and for the people that he had with him, and persuaded him to go up with him to Ramoth Gilead. And Ahab, king of Israel, said unto Jehoshaphat, king of Judah, Wilt thou go with me to Ramoth Gilead? And he answered him, I am as thou art, and my people as thy people, and we will be with thee in the war. And Jehoshaphat said unto the king of Israel, Inquire, I pray thee, at the word of Yahuwah today. He said, but first, before we go up to war, let's consult Yahuwah. Like, he is probably one of the few kings that before they actually went out to war, instead of going consulting the prophets of Belial or going to a soothsayer or something, he said, let's see what Yah has to say first, right? So listen to this, y'all. And Jehoshaphat said unto the king of Israel, Inquire, I pray, at the word of Yahuwah today. Therefore the king of Israel gathered together of the prophets 400 men and said unto them, Shall we go to Ramoth Gilead to battle, or shall I forbear? He said, Shall we go up to war, or shall we not go up to war? And they said, Go up, for Yahuwah will deliver it into the king's hand. But King Jehoshaphat said, Is there not here a prophet of Yahuwah besides, that we might inquire of him? So he knew. He said, all these he knew if you bringing a whole guild of prophets to me, 9 times out of 10, none of them belong to Yah, and they are not going to give you. I mean, it's too many of y'all. The way Yahuwah operates, he sends one prophet, and he may send another prophet right after that to confirm the words of the previous prophet. If you hell bent on doing what you want to do, but a lot of times he sends you one prophet, right? Not a whole guild of prophets to give you an answer. And King Jehoshaphat knew that, so he said, after these 400 prophets of Belial, these 400 prophets of Israel said, yep, go up. He said, is there not a prophet of Yah here amongst all these people? But Jehoshaphat said, is there not here a prophet of Yahuwah besides, that we might inquire of him? And the king of Israel said unto Jehoshaphat, there is yet one man by whom we may inquire of Yahuwah, but I hate him. Remember, I'm telling y'all about, I told y'all about this story. He said, yeah, there's one here, but I hate him. He never says anything good to me. Why? Because you always want to do something against what he commanded you to do. Trina, Betwabu. Okay. And the king of Israel said unto Jehoshaphat, there is yet one man by whom we may inquire of Yahuwah, but I hate him. He never prophesied good unto me, but always evil. The same as Micaiah, the son of Imlah. And Jehoshaphat said, let not the king say so. Or in if you read in a New Living Translation, was it the NLT, New Living Translation, it said a king shouldn't talk like this, you know. And the king of Israel called for one of his officers and said, fetch quickly Micaiah, the son of Imlah. And the king of Israel and Jehoshaphat, king of Judah, sat either of them on his throne, clothed in their robes, and they sat in a void place at the entering in of the gate of Samaria, and all the prophets prophesied before them. So they sitting up there at like the threshing floor, and they got all the prophets in front of them, and they prophesying what thus saith the Lord, but they lying. All of them are lying. Right, so the kings are they're friends. They're sitting there, they're having an alliance together, so they're sitting there listening, getting counsel on what they should do before they go up or not go up, right? And Zedekiah, the son of Kenaniah, had made him horns of iron and said, thus saith Yahuwah, with these shalt thou push Syria until they be consumed. And all the prophets prophesied so, saying, go up to Ramoth Gilead and prosper, for Yahuwah shall deliver it into the hand of the king. And the messenger that went to call Micaiah spake unto him, saying, behold, the words of the prophets declare good to the king with one assent, and let thy word therefore, I pray thee, be like one of theirs, and speak thou good. So the messenger that he had sent, he said, look, all the prophets are already there. They already telling them good things. When you get there, you make sure you tell him good things too. Don't go against what the prophets that are already there are already saying unto him. And Micaiah said, as Yahuwah liveth, even what my Yah saith, that I will speak. And when he was come to the king said unto him, Micaiah, shall we go to Ramoth Gilead to battle? And this is King Ahab asking Micaiah. And when he was come to the king said unto him, Micaiah, shall we go to Ramoth Gilead to battle, or shall I forbear? And he said, and another version said, and he said sarcastically, go up and prosper, and they shall be delivered into your hand. And the king said unto him, how many times shall I adjure thee that thou say nothing but the truth to me in the name of Yahuwah? So he knew, like, if you calling your prophets, 400 of them, mind you, and you know, why would you even call the prophet of Yah? Just do the opposite of what your 400 prophets told you to do. If they say go up, don't go, because they wrong. That's why you reluctantly called for him when King Jehoshaphat said, is there not a prophet of Yah among these people? And you knew it was a prophet of Yah. You should call him in the first place, but you said, I hate him. Betwabu, TT, Betwabu. And the king said to him, how many times shall I adjure thee that thou say nothing but the truth to me in the name of Yahuwah? Then he said, I did see Israel, all of Israel, scattered upon the mountains as sheep that have no shepherd. And Yahuwah said, these have no master, let them therefore return every man to his house in peace. And the king of Israel said to Jehoshaphat, did I not tell thee that he would not prophesy good unto me but evil? Again he said, therefore, and this is Micaiah the prophet now speaking, he said, therefore, hear the word of Yahuwah. I saw Yahuwah sitting upon his throne, and all the hosts of heaven standing on his right hand and on his left. And Yahuwah said, who shall entice Ahab, king of Israel, that he may go up and fall at Ramoth Gilead? And one spake And one spake, saying after this manner, and another saying after that manner. And listen, here's the part I was telling y'all about where Yahuwah will allow things to happen that we don't think that he will. Oh, y'all wouldn't do that. God would not do that. God would, yes, you don't know his character too much, do you? You don't know how he operates, because yes, he surely would. Listen to this. I'll read 19 again. And Yahuwah said, who shall entice Ahab, king of Israel? Mind you, he dealing with this whole thing. Shall I go up to Ramoth Gilead or shall I not? So Yahuwah, this is already written on the tablets of heaven, right? Because he already, this is what y'all said. This is why he's even having this conversation with King Jehoshaphat. Therefore, and Yahuwah said, who shall entice King Ahab of Israel, that he may go up and fall at Ramoth Gilead? And one spake, saying after this manner, and another saying after that manner. Then there came out a spirit and stood before Yahuwah and said, I will entice him. And Yahuwah said unto him, wherewith? Or he said, how will you entice him? And he said, I will go out and be a lying spirit in the mouth of all his prophets. And Yahuwah said, thou shalt entice him, and thou shalt also prevail. Go out and do even so. So it's like, I was like, Yahuwah told him to go and lie? And that just blew me away. So that just kind of, I really got into this story. I just saw another whole mode of operation, because you got to realize King Ahab he was already going down a slippery slope, because he was doing things he should not have been doing as the king of Israel, and his heart was wicked. He wasn't doing what was right. So Yahuwah said, okay, it was king after king till they got to a righteous king. But they ruled for a little while, and then Yahuwah booted them out. He said, all right, you want to try next? Okay, let's see if you keep these laws, statutes, and commands so that I can continue to bless Israel. Nope, you cause the nation to sin too, you got to go too. Now, therefore, behold, Yahuwah hath put a lying spirit in the mouth of these prophets, and Yahuwah hath spoken evil against thee. Then Zedekiah the son of Kenani came near and smote Micaiah upon the cheek and said, which way went the spirit of Yahuwah from me to speak unto thee? Now remember, Zedekiah, early in the chapter, he was the one that made the horns of iron. He was the prophet who was speaking out first. He was there molding horns of iron and said, just as these just as these horns of iron, you will be like this, and you will push the Sumerians, pretty much saying you're going to go up and you're going to defeat him. So this is the same prophet that did this in the beginning of the chapter, Zedekiah. And so it said he came and smote Yahuwah's prophet, the real prophet, and smote him and said, when did Yahuwah begin speaking to you and not to me? Then Zedekiah the son of Kenani came near and smote Micaiah upon the cheek and said, which way went the spirit of Yahuwah from me to speak unto thee? And Micaiah said, behold, thou shalt see on the day when thou shalt go into the inner chamber to hide thyself. And he got right slick with him. He said, oh, you going to see which way the spirit left you and came to me when you hiding in your room, when they about to kill your butt. That's what he was saying. Then the king of Israel said, take Micaiah and carry him back to Ammon, to the governor of the city, and to Joash the king's son, and say, thus saith the king, put this fellow in prison and feed him with bread and the affliction of water of affliction until I return in peace. And Micaiah said, if thou certainly return in peace, then hath not Yahuwah spoken by me. And he said, hearken all ye people, meaning he said, all y'all mark my words. I'd have been shaking in my boots. I'm like, king, maybe we should listen to the prophet of Yah. Or I would have been heading out of there like, ain't nothing good gonna come. Father, forgive me and my family for, we under a wicked king. I'd have just been like, okay, so I lost my spot, y'all. Hold on. Okay, verse 28. So the king of Israel and Jehoshaphat, the king of Judah, went up to Ramoth Gilead. Jehoshaphat still went up with him. I'm like, then you just hear the prophet of Yah, but your league with this wicked king kept you going, knowing that he about to die. Listen to this. So the king of Israel and Jehoshaphat, king of Judah, went up to Ramoth Gilead. And the king of Israel said unto Jehoshaphat, I will disguise myself, and I will go into the battle, but you keep on your robes. So he go up, knowing he about to be in trouble, and he know because he decided to disguise himself. Like, they won't gonna find you. I'm just like, see, people know what's right, and they sidestep stuff, and it's like, how you think you're gonna get over? You think a disguise is gonna hide you? So the king of Israel and Jehoshaphat, the king of Judah, went up to Ramoth Gilead, and the king of Israel said unto Jehoshaphat, I will disguise myself and will go into the battle, but put thou on thy robes. So the king of Israel disguised himself, and they went into the battle. Now the king of Syria had commanded the captains of the chariots that were with him, saying, fight ye not with small or great, save only with the king of Israel. Meaning, he said, don't mess with anybody else, don't kill anybody else, just find the king of Israel and kill him. So they were looking for King Ahab. And it came to pass, when the captains of the chariots saw Jehoshaphat, that they said, it is the king of Israel. Therefore they compassed about him to fight. But Jehoshaphat cried out, and Yahuwah helped him, and Yahuwah moved them to depart from him. So Jehoshaphat, first of all, shouldn't have been there anyway. You should have went home, but you went up anyway. But because you were righteous in the sight of Yah, and you called out to him when they mistook him, where they mistakenly took him for the king of Israel, but he was the king of Judah. They was about to get him, but before they actually got him, Jehoshaphat cried out, and Yahuwah opened their eyes, and they realized, oh, this is not the king of Israel. This is the king of Judah. And so they left him alone, and he went home. For it came to pass that when the captains of the chariots perceived that it was not the king of Israel, they turned back again from pursuing him. And a certain man drew a bow at a venture and smote the king of Israel between the joints of the harness. Therefore he said to his chariot man, turn thy hand, that thou mayest carry me out of the host, for I am wounded. And the battle increased that day. Howbeit the king of Israel stayed himself up in his chariot against the Syrians until the even, and about the time of the sun going down, he died. Chapter 19 of 2 Chronicles. And Jehoshaphat, the king of Judah, returned to his house in peace to Jerusalem. And Jehu, the son of Hanani, the seer, went out to meet him. So when he got home, he was met by a prophet of Yah. Listen to what he said to him. And Jehoshaphat, the king of Judah, returned to his house in peace to Jerusalem. And Jehu, the son of Hanani, the seer, went out to meet him, and said to King Jehoshaphat, shouldest thou help the ungodly and love them that hate Yahuwah? So he said, do you love the enemy more than you love Yah? Why would you go out to battle with the wicked king? Therefore is the wrath upon thee from... Hold on, let me read that again, y'all. And Jehu, the son of Hanani the seer, went out to meet him and said to King Jehoshaphat, shouldest thou help the ungodly and love them that hate Yahuwah? Therefore is wrath upon thee from before Yahuwah. Nevertheless, there are good things found in thee, King Jehoshaphat, in that thou hast taken away the groves out of the land, and hast prepared thine heart to seek Yahuwah. And Jehoshaphat dwelt at Jerusalem, and he went out again through the people from Beersheba to Mount Ephraim, and brought them back unto Yahuwah, the God of their fathers. And he set judges in the land throughout all the fenced cities of Judah, city by city, and said to the judges, take heed what ye do, for ye judge not for man, but for Yahuwah, who is with you in the judgment. And he said, be mindful how you judge, because you are not judging according to how men judge, but you're judging according to how Yahuwah would judge. So King Jehoshaphat was a righteous king in the fact that he tore down all the wicked things and the multiple altars of Baal and everything, and he taught his people Yahuwah's laws and the ways that they shall follow. And the judges, he stayed on them. He said, you judge righteously according to Yahuwah's law, that he may continue to bless us. Verse 6, and said to the judges, take heed what ye do, for ye judge not for man, but for Yahuwah, who is with you in the judgment. Wherefore now let the fear of Yahuwah be upon you. Take heed and do it, for there is no iniquity with Yahuwah our God, nor respect of persons, nor taking of gifts. Meaning we don't take bribes either. Don't be bribed while you're in office, because you become wicked. Moreover, in Jerusalem did Jehoshaphat set the Levites and of the priests and of the chief of the fathers of Israel for the judgment of Yahuwah and for the controversies when they returned to Jerusalem. And he charged them, saying, thus shall ye do in the fear of Yahuwah, faithfully and with a perfect heart. And what cause soever shall come to you of your brethren that dwell in your cities, between blood and blood, between law and commandments, statutes and judgments, ye shall even warn them that they trespass not against Yahuwah. And so wrath come upon you and upon your brethren. This do, and ye shall not trespass. And behold, Amira, the chief priest, is over you in all matters of Yahuwah, and Zebediah, the son of Ishmael, the ruler of the house of Judah, for all the king's matters. Also the Levites shall be officers before you. Deal courageously, and Yahuwah shall be with the good. Last chapter for today, y'all. 2 Chronicles chapter 20. And it came to pass after this also that the children of Moab and the children of Ammon, remember who the children of Moab and Ammon are? Remember the daughters of Lot, who got their father drunk and slept with him, and they got pregnant. One bore Moab and the other bore Ammon. This is their offspring. And it came to pass after this also that the children of Moab and the children of Ammon with them, other beside the Ammonites, came against Jehoshaphat to battle. And there came some that told Jehoshaphat, saying, there cometh a great multitude against thee from beyond the sea. I mean, these were their cousins. Came from beyond the sea on this side Syria, and behold, they be in Hazan Tamar, which is in Engedi. And Jehoshaphat feared and set himself to seek Yahuwah and proclaimed a fast throughout all of Judah. So Ammon and Moab was about to come up against all of Judah, and they had a huge army. And King Jehoshaphat knew there is no way we are going to be able to beat them. There's no way we can outsmart them. There are just too many of them. So what did he do? He did the only thing he knew how to do. And the best thing to do, he cried out to Yah. Listen. And Jehoshaphat feared and set himself to seek Yahuwah and proclaimed a fast throughout all of Judah. And Judah gathered themselves together to ask help of Yahuwah. Even out of all the cities of Judah, they came to seek Yah. Not only is he fast, he told the entire city, we all need to pray and fast and seek Yah. Otherwise, we are all going to die. And Jehoshaphat stood in the congregation of Judah in Jerusalem in the house of Yahuwah before the new court and said, O Yahuwah, the God of our fathers, art not thou God in heaven, and rulest not over all the kingdoms of the heathen? And in thine hand is there not power and might, so that none is able to withstand thee? Art not thou our God, who did drive out the inhabitants of this land before thy people Israel, and gave it to the seed of Abraham thy friend forever? And they dwelt therein, and have built thee a sanctuary therein for thy name, saying, if, when evil come upon us, as the sword, judgment, or pestilence, or famine, we stand before this house in thy presence, for thy name is in this house, and cry unto thee in our affliction, then thou wilt hear and help. And now, behold, the children of Ammon and Moab and Mount Seir, whom thou wouldst not let Israel invade. Matter of fact, he said, the same people that you told us to leave alone, they are coming to do us harm. Good morning, Aunt Nini. Behold, now the children of Ammon and Moab and Mount Seir, whom thou wouldest not let Israel invade, when they came out of the land of Egypt, but they turned from them and destroyed them not. Behold, I say, how they reward us. See how they are rewarding us for the good that we did to them. You told us to turn away, and we turned away, but now they are turning against us when we let them go, and we did only good to them. Our God, wilt thou not judge them? For we have no might against this great company that come against us, neither know we what to do, but our eyes are upon thee. And all Judah stood before Yahuwah with their little ones, their wives, and their children. Then upon Jahaziel, the son of Zechariah, the son of Benaiah, the son of Jehiel, the son of Mattiah, a Levite of the sons of Asaph, came the spirit of Yahuwah in the midst of the congregation. Remember, we talk about how the spirit of Yah was given? Even back here, here's another instance. And he said, hearken ye, all Judah, and all ye inhabitants of Jerusalem, and thou King Jehoshaphat. Thus saith Yahuwah unto you, be not afraid nor dismayed by reason of this great multitude, for the battle is not yours, but Yahuwah's. Tomorrow go down against them. Behold, they shall come up by the cliff of Ziz, and ye shall find them at the end of the brook, therefore before the wilderness of Jeruel. Ye shall not need to fight in this battle. Set yourselves, stand ye still, and see the salvation of Yahuwah with you. O Judah and Jerusalem, fear not, nor be dismayed. Tomorrow go out against them, for Yahuwah will be with you. So he said, listen, this is not your battle, but I still want y'all to go up so y'all can see what I'm about to do to them. So they girded themselves up, and they went out like they was going to battle. He said, when you get there, you just stand and watch what I do. Listen to this. Ye shall not need to fight in this battle. Set yourselves, stand ye still, and see the salvation of Yahuwah with you. O Judah and Jerusalem, fear not, nor be dismayed. Tomorrow go out against them, for Yahuwah will be with you. And Jehoshaphat bowed his head with his face to the ground, and all of Judah and the inhabitants of Jerusalem fell before Yahuwah, worshiping Yahuwah. And the Levites of the children of the Kohathites and of the children of the Korahites stood up to praise Yahuwah, the God of Israel, with a loud voice on high. And they rose early in the morning and went forth into the wilderness of Tekoa. And as they went forth, Jehoshaphat stood and said, Hear me, O Judah, and ye inhabitants of Jerusalem. Believe in Yahuwah your God, so shall ye be established. Believe his prophets, so shall ye prosper. And when he had consulted with the people, he appointed singers unto Yahuwah, that they should praise the beauty of his holiness as they went out before the army, and to say, Praise Yahuwah, for his mercy endureth forever. And when they began to sing and praise, Yahuwah set ambushments against the children of Ammon, Moab, and Mount Seir, which were come against Judah, and they were smitten. For the children of Ammon and Moab stood up against the inhabitants of Mount Seir, utterly to slay and destroy them. And when they had made an end of the inhabitants of Seir, everyone helped destroy another. Meaning, they had Ammon and Moab and Seir go up against the children of Israel, but when they got there, Israel was standing by Judah and Jerusalem. They were standing by watching this. So when the army was coming against them, Ammon and Moab began to attack Seir, which was with them, to fight against Judah. But instead of fighting against Judah, they began to fight each other. So Ammon and Moab teamed up, and they slaughtered Seir, which came up with them as a partner. And once they got done slaughtering Seir, they turned against each other. The brothers turned against each other. Ammon and Moab began to fight one another. And they fought until every single one of them were dead. They killed themselves. And Israel stood by and just watched all this like. Yahuwah said, just stand and watch. Stand by and see the salvation of your God. Let the party begin. I would have been up there like. And Jehoshaphat bowed his face to the ground, and all of Judah and the inhabitants of Jerusalem fell before Yahuwah, worshiping Yahuwah. And the Levites and the children of the Kohathites and the children of the Korahites stood up to praise Yahuwah, the God of Israel, with a loud voice on high. I went back up a few verses just so y'all can hear it again. And they rose early in the morning and went forth into the wilderness of Tekoa. And as they went forth, Jehoshaphat stood and said, Hear me, O Judah, and ye inhabitants of Jerusalem. Believe in Yahuwah your God, so shall ye be established. Believe his prophets, so shall ye prosper. And when he had consulted with the people, he appointed singers unto Yahuwah that should praise the beauty of holiness as they went out before the army, and to say, Praise Yahuwah, for his mercy endureth forever. And when they began to sing and praise, Yahuwah set ambushments against the children of Ammon, Moab, and Mount Seir, which were come against Judah, and they were smitten. For the children of Ammon and Moab stood against the inhabitants of Mount Seir, utterly to slay and destroy them. And when they had made an end of the inhabitants of Seir, everyone helped to destroy another. And when Judah came toward the watchtower in the wilderness, they looked unto the multitude, and behold, they were dead bodies fallen to the earth, and none escaped. And when Jehoshaphat and his people came to take away the spoil of them, they found among them in abundance both riches with the dead bodies and precious jewels, which they stripped off for themselves, more than they could carry away. And there were 3 days in gathering of spoil, it was so much. And on the 4th day they assembled themselves in the valley of Berakah, for there they blessed Yahuwah. Therefore the name of the same place is called the valley of Berakah unto this day, or the valley of blessing. Then they returned, every man of Judah and Jerusalem, and Jehoshaphat in the forefront of them, to go again to Jerusalem with joy, for Yahuwah had made them rejoice over their enemies. And they came to Jerusalem with psalteries and harps and trumpets unto the house of Yahuwah. And the fear of Yahuwah was on all the kingdoms of those countries, when they had heard that Yahuwah fought against the enemies of Israel. So the realm of Jehoshaphat was quiet, for Yahuwah gave him rest round about. And Jehoshaphat reigned over Judah. He was 35 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 25 years in Jerusalem. And his mother's name was Azubah, the daughter of Shilhi. And he walked in the way of Asa his father, and departed not from it, doing that which was right in the sight of Yahuwah. Howbeit the high places were not taken away, for as yet the people had not prepared their hearts unto the God of their fathers. He took down everything except for the high places. And this was one of the places where multiple gods were being worshipped. I don't know why he did it, but he tore down everything else except for the high places. And you got a high place today would be, don't crucify me for saying this, y'all, but a high place today would be a church, because they're worshiping multiple gods there. Now, okay, and because he didn't tear down the high places, the people didn't fully turn away. They didn't fully turn their hearts to Yahuwah alone. They were still worshiping multiple gods, right? That's what it says. Howbeit the high places were not taken away, for as yet the people had not prepared their hearts unto Yahuwah, the God of their fathers. Now the rest of the acts of Jehoshaphat, first and the last, behold, they are written in the book of Jehu, the son of Hanani, who is mentioned in the book of the kings of Israel. And after this, I'm trying to find that book to y'all. And after this did Jehoshaphat, king of Judah, join himself with Ahaziah, the king of Israel, who did very wickedly. Like, you just went through this with King Ahab, who was a wicked king. Now you're going to join yourself to King Ahaziah, who was even more wicked than King Ahab. I'm like, bro, you barely got away with your life the last time y'all went out to war with Ramoth Gilead. Why? I don't get it. I guess because there was already a pact there. I would have broke that pact, but then they would have been, that's coming anyway. They'll be, oh, you don't want to join with us? Now you are enemy. That is coming anyway. But I'm just saying, you barely got away with your life last time. And he joined himself with him to make ships to go to Tarshish, and they made the ships in Ezion-Geber. Then Eleazar, the son of Dodavah, of Marisah, prophesied against Jehoshaphat, saying, because thou hast joined thyself with Ahaziah, Yahuwah hath broken thy works. And the ships were broken, and they were not able to go to Tarshish. So what they had planned to do together, Yahuwah stopped before it even got started. They planned to send up ships and all this stuff. Yahuwah said, nope, I'm breaking this. And so he broke all the ships, and they weren't even able to get the ships up and going. So that is our reading for today, beautiful people. I hope you enjoyed it. If you missed it, go back and listen to it from the beginning so you can get the full gist of what is going on. If you don't want to hear me talk, play it on the Bible app or just read it yourself, but you will thoroughly enjoy it, right? All right, y'all. So it is Thursday, April 23rd, 2020, day 128, and it is also the new moon today. We will see the new moon. Well, technically, you won't see it because it's completely black, but we'll see it in the sky tomorrow. We'll see the first sliver of it during the day, because she will rise about the same time that the sun rises. Remember when we calculated, we don't just follow the moon, but we also calculated with the sun and the stars. But I'm gonna show y'all all of this on how we begin to count, because the sun and the stars keep the count of the days perfectly, 364. But if you just use the moon, you're gonna be off 10 days. You're either gonna be 10 days ahead, or you're either gonna be 10 days behind if you're only using the moon. Yahuwah said use all three, and that's also found in the book of Enoch. I didn't make that clear to y'all, but I'm looking at both of them. That's why we begin our count in the day when it's daytime as you go through. But I don't want to get y'all all confused and stuff. But like I said, I'm working on the way I can write it out to where it makes sense, and so you can follow. And it's like, oh, I get it. Okay, so, but it's taken me a while to do all that. So, but I want y'all to be mindful and be watching. You won't actually see it tonight. You was, like I said, if they not spraying the skies or if it's not overcast, you will see the moon out here about the same time you see the sunrise. But you will see it all day, and they'll set about the same time as well. But every day, the moon will rise a little bit later and later, and she'll begin her own course from the sun. And then by the time we get halfway through the month, when it becomes the full moon, remember the full moon is always the 15th day of the month. And so now we see the moon in the sky at night, and she just does her thing. But I don't want to get too much into that, y'all. But be safe out there. If you're in one of these states where they opening it back up, be careful. Use wisdom, y'all. I'm telling you, there's shenanigans going on. I'm telling you, I know what y'all said. we stand in the house. We're only going out when we need to. And I don't know if y'all have noticed. And at first I thought it was just me, because I mentioned it a couple times to my family, and even my sister said something. Like, if I go out, I mostly cover all the time anyway, but if I go out, and say if I got on short sleeves, I keep my head and my face and stuff covered when I go out. But if I put on long sleeve, if I don't put on long sleeves, my arms will start itching. It's like something in the air. And even like the part of my face that's exposed, like around here, because I have my hair covered, and my nose, all this around here, it'll begin. It's like it's something in the air. It could be the pollen. I don't know, but it's weird. But it's like my hands, it start itching and burning, and I have to go and wash my hands. So I'm not sure what's going on out there. And even my mom's in Georgia, and she said she noticed it, but she brushed it off because she just, she just walked out to take a trash out and get mail and stuff, but she said she just brushed it off, and then my sister said she noticed it, like if she don't cover her head, she said her head starts acting crazy and she got to go wash her hair. So I don't know, y'all. Be mindful, be paying attention to the atmosphere and stuff. I don't know. They saying people putting up a fuss and fight and stuff, and they sick of being in the house. And they ready to get outside. Yeah, y'all go on outside and get yourself weeded out of the earth before your time. But we're going to be mindful. When we need to go out, we'll go out, but we're going to follow all the proper precautions, But we're going to stay alive, y'all. We're going to stay alive, right? Because we're going to use wisdom, and we're going to follow y'all. And if we see something crazy, what we're going to do first, we're going to cry out to y'all. Especially if we're walking in righteousness, according to how Yahuwah see righteousness, by keeping his laws, his statutes, and commands, not by this old religious thing, because you can keep them and still be as wicked as King Ahab, So, but if you're doing your best to live a pure and holy life, walking righteously, doing good to others, and taking care of things you need to take care of, you can with confidence cry out to Yah, and he'll hear you, and he'll come to your rescue, just like he did with King Jehoshaphat when he made a poor decision to go out and make a pact with the wicked king. He almost lost his life. And you would think he would learn, but he did it again. Don't be like him. If you save your life and you barely make it through by the skin of your teeth, is there such a thing? Because there is no skin on your teeth. But if you cry out and he hear you, you might want to consider your ways and not go and do that same foolish thing again. All right, y'all? I love y'all. Let's do this blessing, and we're going to roll. All right, so may Yahuwah bless us and keep us. May Yahuwah make his face to shine upon us and be gracious unto us. May Yahuwah lift up his countenance upon us and give us his peace. I love y'all, and I will see y'all bright and early in the morning. Peace.